Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, today we are going to be talking about Vivek Ramaswamy and his ousting from DOGE. Now, before we get into today's topic, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. If you like this video and you share it, what it does is it pushes this video up in the algorithm. It must be so one thing that I must say is that just because videos like this are not pushed up in the algorithm, it does not mean that these videos are not important. Before we get into today's topic, I have a little announcement that I always give before I get into the topics that I talk about. And it has to do with transnational repression. It's where countries are reaching across their borders to silence the dissent of their citizens. They're doing it in a number of ways through the employment of cyber hackers or cyber transnational organized crime groups that are actually getting into the accounts of political dissidents, human rights defenders, journalists, activists, and altering their content. And so just need to bring awareness to this particular issue. It is happening to a variety of academics and human rights defenders and journalists, and we just need to bring awareness to it. Now that we've brought awareness to that, let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Ladies and gentlemen, Vivek Ramaswamy is stepping down from DOGE to run for governor. Now, before I get into this article, I want to say that I knew that this was going to happen as well. I didn't know it was going to happen this soon, but I knew that this was going to happen. And Vivek Ramaswamy is not one of my favorite persons. Now, I think that he is very intelligent. He is someone that I would appreciate sitting across the table from and having a political discussion about differing viewpoints. But I don't agree with his political stances or the ideology that he holds on a lot of political issues in the United States. Let's go ahead and get into today's article. Vivek Vivek Ramaswamy is stepping down from his role in President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency to reportedly launch a campaign for governor of Ohio. The biotech entrepreneur turned politician said he would make an announcement very soon about his plans for the Buckeye state. A DOGE spokesperson confirmed the news shortly after Trump's inauguration on Monday, January 20th, thanking Ramaswamy for his contributions over the past 2 months. Vivek Ramaswamy played a critical role in helping, and so this is what the Trump Vance team is stating, is that they're stating that Ramaswamy played a critical role in helping the administration to, construct this department outside of, government, which is DOGE. And they further stated that he intends to run for elected office soon, which requires him to remain outside of DOGE based on the structure that they had announced. And I think this is coming from a person named Taylor Popularis. It's an interesting last name. Meanwhile, after news of his departure became public, Ramaswamy said on X, he said that it was his honor to help support the creation of DOGE. Quote, Ramaswamy said that he is confident that Elon and that team will succeed in streamlining government. Ramaswamy also added that he'll have more to say very soon about his future plans for Ohio. And he is saying that he's all in to help Donald Trump and the plans that Donald Trump has for the United States of America. So, as you know, Ramaswamy's focus for DOGE has been on deregulation efforts. And what it aimed to do was to slash government spending for over 1 trillion. So basically they were going to slash that 1 trillion, slash it down allegedly. And so his exit leaves tech mogul Elon Musk in charge following Trump's decision to elect both men as advisory board leaders. And it just goes on to say a lot of other information about this department. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I think happened. There are some reports that are saying that Ramaswamy was pushed out of DOGE. And I believe that story. And I'm going to tell you why. I must reiterate that I don't agree with Ramaswamy and his political stances. I think that in I think that Ramaswamy is I think his arguments about other cultures is misinformed. But what I will say is that I feel personally Ramaswamy in the room of all of those tech trillionaires, billionaires. Okay, so none of them are trillionaires, but the billionaires. I think Ramaswamy was probably the most intelligent in the room. And I think that most of those men in that circle in Trump world are threatened by Ramaswamy's intelligence. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be fair. Ramaswamy was during his presidential run, he was very influential, even more so influential than Donald Trump, until Trump put out a statement on his Truth Social account that said that Ramaswamy was not MAGA. And so I think that Trump felt a little threatened by Ramaswamy because Ramaswamy was taking a lot of resonating with a lot of the people on the right. And so this is what I think is happening behind closed doors. I think that Ramaswamy is his intelligence is intimidating a lot of the men in that room who aren't as educated and well informed as Ramaswamy. Now, when it comes to government, that's something totally different because a lot of them are coming to the table without governmental or political experience. But Ramaswamy's intellect is, if we are to be honest, it surpasses some of the people that he is in the room with. And so this is what I think is happening, ladies and gentlemen. I think that some of those men in that room, in the Trump room, including Elon Musk, I feel that they felt intimidated. This is what I believe. I think that they felt intimidated by Ramaswamy's intelligence. Now, is he ignorant on some cultural issues? Of course. Is he ignorant on some of the issues, the political issues in the United States? Is he ignorant on some of the policies in the United States? Of course. But Ramaswamy does not quite fit into the administration. And I don't need to say the quiet part out loud. I think we all know how he does not fit in the administration. And there's a second part to this. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember at the inauguration, you had all the tech billionaires sitting on the first row? So you had, I need to figure out what this guy's name is. Hold on. It's a difficult name for me to pronounce. It's Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google. So you had Sundar on the first row. You had Elon Musk, I believe. You had Mark Zuckerberg. You had Jeff Bezos. So you had all these tech billionaires that were on the first row. Someone told me that the TikTok owner was on the first row, but I didn't see that person. But all the rest of the CEOs or the tech billionaires were there on the first row. And if you look, you had all of those tech billionaires on the first row, and Vivek Ramaswamy was in the very back. And I know this ate Ramaswamy up inside, that he was in the very back. He was supposed to be part of DOGE. Let me see if I can see that picture. Hold on. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Open and new tab. Let's see. We'll get to it just a moment. Okay, so yeah, I don't see the TikTok CEO. Although the TikTok CEO was there, I don't see him on the first row in that one picture that is being circulated. No, I don't see him there. Okay, so there is a picture where they show the TikTok billionaires on the first row. So you have Elon Musk, you have Sundar, you have Jeff Bezos, you have Mark Zuckerberg. And it's not, I don't see that picture, but there's a video where in the background, ladies and gentlemen, someone was evil when they did that. They showed Vivek in the very back. And I think that this ruffled the feathers of Vivek. I think that this really got under his skin. I think that, he was so embarrassed probably by this what is it? Class differential, right? I think he was probably disturbed by that. To be a part of something and then not to be a part of it, right? So he's allegedly a part of this class of people that he fought so hard and spoke so basically he fought so hard to get Trump into office and was working, spent a lot of his own money working to support Trump, and not only to support Trump, but he was working to advocate for him in multiple ways, only to be put in the back row. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not to say other people weren't in the back row, but Vivek was doing a lot of stomping, to say the least. He was doing a lot of stomping for Trump, only to be put in the back row. And so I think that this hit a nerve for Vivek. It hit a nerve to be a part of something, but not to be a part of something, to watch from afar, to be on the outside looking in, looking through the stained glass window. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, what I also thought, this crossed my mind as well, is that during that inauguration, Vivek saw an opportunity for power. He thought he was this close to power. If Trump would have never put out that message that he was not MAGA, he probably would have been VP. I mean, maybe not, maybe. I know that when he was at the inauguration, he felt that close to being the man who was able to run the world. And so, what was Vivek's strategy? Like from that point on, I think that what he saw, Vivek, was he looked and he said, okay, there's Trump, there is JD Vance, and they're running the country. And he felt that he's just as good to do it as well. And so what he did was he backed out of DOGE, either on his own volition or maybe he was forcefully thrown out of it. And he decided to run for governor. And just think about it. Where did he run for governor? In Ohio, in JD Vance's district. And so what I think is happening, ladies and gentlemen, is that Vivek is trying to get some political experience under his belt running in the same district that JD Vance comes from, running for, I believe it's mayor, or excuse me, governor, so that there is a sense of similarity, right? So people can view, so when people think of Ohio and governor in the next election, they think of Vivek Ramaswamy as JD Vance. And that opens two doorways for him. One, if JD Vance runs for president in 4 years, Vivek can do two things. Vivek is going to run again. I'm pretty sure he's going to run for president again. And if he runs for president again, he'll be running against JD Vance. If he loses, then he has a stronger opportunity to become JD Vance's vice president than all other people, because now he is, if he wins Ohio and he becomes governor in Ohio, now he's in a district where JD Vance comes from. He actually has some of those electoral college votes. He's already adopting the ideology of the right. And so now he is going to go in and collect all those votes. If he runs for vice president in the next 4 years, and he has a stronger opportunity to become president. That's what I think is going to happen. What I don't think was happening is that he wasn't being recognized in this Department of Government Efficiency. And I think when we look at it for what it really is, Vivek Ramaswamy probably didn't want to work for anybody, right? He's a person that was running businesses. He was used to being in charge. And so to step into a role where other people are making decisions was probably unusual for him. And so you can kind of see that if there was a split screen back at the inauguration where Vivek Ramaswamy was in the back and he was kind of embarrassingly, lifting his head up, and you can kind of see all the billionaires in the front row. It's embarrassing. Now, I don't know what kind of conflict Ramaswamy was causing behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure that probably his mouth got him into trouble, but that's because he is probably, not going with some of the things that they're saying, or maybe they probably think that he is a smarty pants or someone who I'm 100%. I am willing to bet you that some of the language that is being thrown around is that he is a smarty pants or a know-it-all, because he is articulate, he is intelligent, he knows how to string a sentence together, and he probably challenged some of the viewpoints behind closed doors. And you know, with that crowd, the MAGA crowd, there is a group of this is what I will say. With the MAGA crowd, there is an extreme ideology in some of them. And so if you present an idea to them, they're probably stuck in their ways. They don't want those ideas to be changed. And that's probably what Vivek Ramaswamy was doing, is he was presenting some ideas that felt uncomfortable for them. And they probably disagreed with it. I mean, they said that he was causing a lot of trouble, but what trouble is what I want to know. Tell me, tell us all, like, what was going on behind closed doors? Again, I don't think that Vivek was being recognized under the laws of this new administration. I think that, to reiterate, I think that he was coming across as a know-it-all. He was probably coming across as someone who was too intelligent. He walked in the room and he probably intimidated a lot of people, because Vivek is somebody, and listen, this is coming from somebody who does not agree with Vivek. This is coming from somebody who disagrees with his ideology. But we all have to admit, ladies and gentlemen, is that he is probably somebody that you would more so want to sit in a room and have a discussion with, because he is able to articulate himself in a way in which one can understand, and one can maybe appreciate, right? When he talks, you sit up and you want to listen. And I'll give you an example. We have a professor here at Queen's University, Belfast. Her name is Dr. Brunger. I believe she's from Ghana or Guyana, or she's from somewhere like that. And she's the talk of the town on the university, because when she teaches, her body language, the way she enunciates her words, the way that she uh, how can I say, what is she doing? How she's elevating her voice, right? She's the way that she pronounces her words, the way that her energy is, she is the epitome of what you want in a educator. And ladies and gentlemen, every class I go to, everybody is bringing up Dr. Brunger. They're like, I wish this person could teach like Dr. Brunger. And they're like, and I ask them, like, what class do you enjoy the most? And they always say, oh, have you been in Dr. Brunder's class? Like she is beloved here. Like she is like the Annalise Keating in her teaching, like just kind of like her energy, on Queen's University, Belfast. Like her energy is amazing. And all students, now I'm not just talking about like African students, everybody loves her. Irish students love her. Students from India love her. Asian students, everybody loves Dr. Brunger. And so you can kind of see, with like that kind of energy, that intellect, that uh, that ability to move the room with your words, and the ability to captivate and to capture the attention of your audience, which is what Dr. Brunger does, is the same thing that Vivek Ramaswamy does. And people can be intimidated by that. And people are also intimidated by how the audience is captivated by that. So for example, like in my classes, we are captivated by Dr. Brunger. Like we are holding on to every word. And it's like when she is teaching us, she is telling us a story, she is painting a picture for us to see, and we're able to see human rights come alive before our eyes, right? She is theatrical in certain instances, but in a way that is respectful to the discipline. And that is engaging, and that keeps us coming back for more because that's what we want now. I don't have Dr. Brunger this semester, unfortunately, but some other students do, and they're like just really enamored by her. And that is the same thing that Vivek Ramaswamy does. And I know that people disagree with Vivek Ramaswamy, but he is captivating in a sense, in some respects, right? And so in essence, that's what I think is happening. Is I think that there is people on the right, in the right-wing circles, especially those at the very top, are intimidated by the skill set that Vivek Ramaswamy has. He is now, don't get me wrong, there are some drawbacks, like, right? Because we know that he did some, his record, his work history, and the way in which he ran his companies is questionable. But I'm talking about the way in which he has the capacity to captivate an audience. And that can be intimidating for some. People can be jealous about that. And in some respects, people can be envious of it. And if you're able to captivate an audience, if you're able to hold the attention of a crowd, people don't want that kind of person around, unfortunately. And that's what I think is what happened. I think that that is what essentially drove him out of DOGE, is because he was articulate in his ability to articulate his point of view about certain projects. He articulated in a way that really came across as probably highfalutin to some of the people in the room. And just think about it. He is probably this millionaire in a room full of billionaires, and he is coming across more educated and more uh, intellectually sound than some of the other billionaires in the room. And that can be devastating for billionaires who have achieved much in their lives, to only have a person who is coming behind them with more intellect and more rationale, and able to reason, and able to give their opinion about how they want things ran. That can be intimidating for some of those men in that room. So what do you think? Do you think that, no, Quianna, do you think that Vivek was just a bratty person in these rooms? Do you think that he was being a nuisance in this room? Do you think that he was just there to cause trouble? Or do you think that some of those men were intimidated by Vivek Ramaswamy's intelligence? Do you think that they felt that they couldn't compete with it and they needed to get him out? Do you think that Vivek Ramaswamy, his political ideology is consistent with those on the right? Do you think that there were some inconsistencies happening behind the room? Do you think that this also had to do with cultural differences? Do you think that the Trump administration, the MAGA team, were more, um, I guess, some of the policies that they were trying to implement behind closed doors were more far right than Ramaswamy could take? Or do you think it was the other way around? Do you think that Ramaswamy was trying to go even more far right than MAGA wanted? These are all good questions. They are answers that I want to know. And if you can answer them or if you are able to respond, would appreciate reading your answers. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to link my Facebook account in the description of this video. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. You can also follow me here at Real Quianna Canada, at Real Quianna Canada. You can also follow me on Facebook, or excuse me, on Substack. I am every now and then publishing articles on Substack. Most of the articles that I do publish have to do with public statements about a particular human rights violation. So I will also link that in the description, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.